guys, and welcome back to whatever frickin' episode this is of The Kevin Show. I'm your host, Kevin, and today we have probably one of the most experienced and best collectors out there, Mr. DiecastEmporium, who we actually had probably one of the best rated shows with, close to the season finale last year.
What's going on, guys? Happy to be back, Kevin.
So the reason that he is here, and if you have, if you live under a rock, this might come as some surprise, but Diecast Masters showcased their lineup at the Toy Fair, and they actually brought some of the new models that have been highly anticipated, and we also got some more revealing things to talk about.
Yes, we do. I guess the first thing really to talk about is everybody wants to know what's going on with the 335 and why it's not available for pre-order. And that's because it hasn't been fully approved by Caterpillar. Simple as that.
Yeah, I seen something about that in the group chat today, in the Model News group chat. Came across that now. Actually, the 335 is actually kind of an interesting piece nonetheless. Some people like it, some people don't, and the first thing that people look at is the undercarriage.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that caught my eye, and I know obviously it's a pre-production sample, but still, like, there was this huge smudge mark or something right on the engine cover. So that immediately detracted everything else from the model for me anyway. I was drawn to that, and for them to bring that as their kind of like highlight piece, but have that have that issue on the picture, it was kind of like, this might not be good at all.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I'd seen an Instagram post from Sal last night, and he said he does not like the 335 because, one, the tracks, which honestly, they don't look the best.
No, they don't.
Not at all. They look like something like one of those, second market sort of manufacturers like Shinsei or something like that would make.
You know what? They remind me of the Ertl tracks that are on the new forestry machines. That's what they reminded me of.
That too, that also came to mind, but I was thinking like a weird off-branded Simoto excavator model or however you say it.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
And
But
he
I think
also,
go ahead.
yeah, go for it.
I was just gonna say, I think the other big issue that has everybody in the community kind of like divided on, and that's Diecast Masters' decision to use an operator figure in the cab. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I was going to get to that. I'm kind of split on it myself. I don't know if you watched the last show, but I mentioned like on certain models it's good, but like the backhoe model, like if you want to pose it with the rear arm digging, and you can't move it, it's not gonna look realistic at all.
Yeah, actually, no, I did watch. I did watch the last episode, and I do remember you bringing up that part. My question is, I wonder if it's going to be, I wonder if there's going to be like a little switch underneath that you can kind of rotate the operator around. I mean, that to me, that seems like it would be a pretty simple implement to do, and that way you can pose them using the backhoe.
Yeah, like we're not gonna see this until obviously we get the models in hand, which will hopefully be within the next month and a half. Well, it's probably gonna be more than a month,
Yeah.
but probably more like a month and a half, 2 months. But still, um, I'm very curious to see like, are these figures any chance to be removable, or are they permanently like fixed there?
Right, and that's what I was going to bring up too, because if there is a way that they surprise us and all of these updated machines actually feature opening doors and removable operators, I think a lot more people will be sold on the fact that they're there. I mean, I don't know if you I don't know if you've already mentioned this in one of the other shows that I didn't have a chance to see yet, but the Diecast Master's reasoning for doing that was to immediately give people a perspective as to how big these pieces of equipment are to a full-size man. So that's why they did it.
As an equipment photographer, I already have this perspective.
Yeah.
If you operate machinery, you already have this perspective. But if you are
if you're
6 years old, you need the perspective.
Right, right. So I don't know where that came from.
I honestly
I don't know.
don't know, because I can see like they're bringing in features to interest the younger people, like 6, 8 years old, that probably will not take care of their models but also to entice us collectors, as in, and by collectors I mean people that actually set them up on shelves and dust them off every now and again, and don't take them out in dirt and play with them.
Right. And even those that use them in a diorama, I think, that's going to be an issue when you're trying to do stop motions or whatever, and you and say you're using the 420 backhoe and you're using it as well a backhoe, and the guy's facing the wrong way. He could be Geraldo or who knows.
Unless he can be like the magical operator who can operate with his arms and not looking out the back, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I mean, back to the 335. Sal also said there's something that he does not like the boom. I don't see why he doesn't, because it actually looks fine to me.
Well, I think again, an important thing for everybody to note is that all of these are pre-production samples, and it's the same thing with the CT681s. Those are not going to be the actual models that you see when they come out, and that's why they're not available for pre-order at any of these retailers. So I've already got my pre-orders in for the models that I know will be in by March. As far as the 335 goes, at best case scenario, you're looking second quarter 2016. And the CT 681s, again, best case scenario, you're looking third quarter 2016. So
At least they got one detail, right? That the hydraulic pump is off to the side.
yeah.
So, I was kind of thinking, are they going to be kind of stupid and give it like the traditional excavator way where the hydraulic hoses just flow straight back, or are they going to put off to the side like it should? Because as you guys know, zero tail swings, there's a lot less room, so they got to pack the motor in as much as possible and then put the hydraulic pump off to the side.
Right.
Just an FYI, because I love zero tail swing cats.
And you are not alone. There are a lot of people that want that model to be out like tomorrow. So
yeah. I was hoping for a 321, but my source said, it's probably not going to be since it's a discontinued piece.
Yeah. There's a chance that it may be with another manufacturer that holds a Caterpillar license down the road. Not trying to drop a bombshell, but there is that chance always.
Yeah, that's true.
However, that's going to be on the more expensive side of things.
But if it is in by
to my next point. I was really pleasantly surprised when I got the price guide for all of these new models. I was actually pretty shocked that they were as affordable as they are. So,
and the main thing that drew my attention was the 330 and 336D that they're only going for like $75.
Mm-hmm.
And let's put it this way: when North Scott, if you guys did not catch the little joke there, inside joke really between me and Joe and Kevin, they were like $95.
Yeah, they were outrageous. Plus, for a while, you couldn't find the 330 anywhere.
Yeah,
the standard 330.
Because it was discontinued quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Now, the next talking point is the Cat 12M3 motor grader. Now, this one did not show up painted. It was just literally a pre-production tooling.
Yes.
But it does look good.
It does. And right now, if we leave the talk of scale models for a second, this year for Caterpillar, they're releasing the 18M, which is now going to be their second largest grader in the lineup. So that's kind of going to be their flagship machine. So all of the attention towards a grader model is going to be put towards the 18. So I doubt very seriously we'll see the 12 this year.
Yeah, and that was actually the next thing, because I'm really clicking through the photos. The 18M3 does look like a very, very nice piece. I mean, you can tell metal handrails, lots of hydraulic line detail. The tires, they look kind of chunky, the treads, but,
Hey, it's better than the 24M.
That is true.
Those looks like Lego wheels, and you can quote me on that.
Yes, I know, exactly. That's one thing that's one reason I never actually got one.
I have both the 24H and the 24M, of course. And yes, the wheels are horrible, just absolutely horrible.
I mean, the 18M3, and there has been a lot of emphasis because they are releasing a number of graders, but the most emphasis has been put on this 18M3. As you said, it's now their flagship grader, really.
Yeah.
And then you also see the little neon guy in the window.
Yeah, I don't know where, personally, I know a lot of people listening are probably wanting our specific views, and I'm not going to pass judgment one way or another until I actually have a model in my hand that I can see. Because I don't know if they're going to do more updates to this operator figure to make him look like, he's in a scale model and he doesn't, basically not an over glorified little kid's action figure toy, because that's what they look like. Seriously.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you're gonna put a figure in a scale model and run the prices that you're running at, and to satisfy what Caterpillar wants, you got to do a little bit more. You got to do a little better than that, in my opinion.
Yeah. And next up would be the CT681, which, and to quote Diecast Construction page, looks butt ugly. Well, I don't know what to say about this, because honestly, I'd rather have a first gear Mac Granite or whatever, but, still, I think these new trucks, especially the CT681, looks a little too boxular.
Well, I think they're kind of, what's the word I'm looking for here before I say it? I think they're kind of following the trend of, even cars today. I mean, if you look outside at most of the cars now, they're very boxy looking. They're not very attractive to look at.
Back to the 80s.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe it's all my fault. Who knows? But yes, the 681s in particular, they don't look the best. The 680s, on the other hand, by Tonkin, look spectacular.
Yes, and that's another interesting point. That Tonkin is still cranking out cat models that they already had ready to go when they lost their license, or when they sold out, I should say. And
yes.
we're allowed to distribute the first runs of the models that they already had produced.
Yes, they will be. And I guess there was, and this was news to me, there was a caveat in the contract that all the models that they currently had produced, they can do color variations of. At least that's my understanding, which is why you saw the late release of the scraper model that I reviewed on my channel. That was done post license being pulled as well.
And also the D7, these 680.
D6,
yeah. Oh, the D6.
Yeah.
That's how Joe said it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you're still going to see the skidder. That is going to come out eventually, and you are definitely, for sure, going to see a ton of 3 and 4 axle variations of the 680.
Yeah.
And a ton of different color, literally 12 to 14 different variations.
Okay, well, that's an interesting thing, because we only got 2 variations of the dump truck from Northscrap. And that would be the CT660, which wasn't the best functioning piece ever either.
No. And I think we talked about this before, but the toolings of the trailers for the Diecast Masters Lowboys, good lord.
Yeah, exactly. Because they don't have any, particular lowboy brand to base it off of. They don't have a license for a lowboy. The only license that they have is Cat, and that's it. On the other hand, Northscott has the Trail King license.
I say drop it. I mean, if I was on the discussion board or for Diecast Masters, and I'm trying to make an impression in this market in the first year, I would just, that would have been one of the models that would have been totally just discontinued and dropped, especially when they're planning on releasing 681s anyway.
Yeah.
So just completely drop the trailer and 950, which everybody in the world has at least 2 of anyway. So
pretty much. I mean,
the 950 came with everything. So
yes, I know, and it was such an annoying model.
But the doors opened. That's about it.
That's the best functioning piece of that model.
Yes, it was.
That is the best functioning piece of it. Because it actually functioned the way it should have.
Right.
Despite those god-awful pins.
Yeah.
You see, we can find a fault even in good features.
Well, when you have a wheel loader, you're expecting it to be able to clear the side of a dump truck. That's one of the main things I do when I'm reviewing a wheel loader model. And when you don't even get close, you have a problem. We're not talking missing it by a little bit. We're talking missing it by pretty much the entire height of the dump bed.
Yeah. So now sort of to transition into the next one. And this has probably been regarded as one of Diecast Masters best looking models that have not been released yet. Just besides the 390, which we've known about for God, I don't know how long. The D9T. This model, I have to say, looks fantastic.
Yeah, it really does.
I
believe it's one of the. I want to double check here before I say this.
You see, he likes to be right. I just say it, and if I'm wrong, well, I get yelled at by Joe the next day.
No, it isn't. Okay, I'm glad I checked. I thought it was going to be one of the ones that was originally released in the first run in March, but it's not. Just the 187 scale version is going to be. But yeah, it does look just phenomenal. I love the detail, and we were talking before we shot the show, Kevin and I were, that they accurately replicated the new placement of the GPS pods, which looked cool. So yeah, that will be a very highly anticipated model as well.
And actually, somebody asked me, why did Cat put the GPS pods up there? And quite simple, people aren't going to climb on top of a bulldozer to steal GPS pods. They would be willing to climb on the track pads and just grab them off the poles, but if you're willing to climb on top of a bulldozer, then you got some issues, or either that, or if you want to take them off, you're talk about pain in the ass in the end of the day.
I think it had more to do with the design overall, and maybe having better GPS coverage. But
that is true.
Think of it this way. I mean, you've got people that will climb up power lines to grab the copper off of it. So climbing on top of a bulldozer to grab a multi-$1,000 GPS is not that big of a deal. So I don't think that's why they did it.
But I mean, also though, first off, it looks better without the damn poles, and also you don't have the cables, and you got better visibility.
Right. I mean, the poles would have been fine had they had cables.
Yeah.
But because they just had the plastic flimsy pole with no cables leading to the engine cover,
which we were talking about the Norscot D6 and D7.
Right. That's what made it look so bad.
Yeah, and the GPS pods, they were fine. The poles and everything were fine. And actually, I have mine able so that the poles can come off and are still reattachable. You gotta do it very carefully, ladies and gents.
I actually know a lot of people that bought those models just for the GPS pods because they wanted to put them on the back of excavators.
Exactly, and I've never seen an excavator with a GPS pods, but, where float your goat.
I've seen one, but it wasn't a Cat product.
Yeah, and I gotta bring this up. That Cabelco smashing that NZG 325B. That's not a way to advertise. Of course, a real hydraulic excavator is going to smash a diecast model.
Yeah.
And here's the next one, the 124 scale 910K, which was announced by Norscot, canceled by Norscot, brought back by Diecast Masters, which is a common theme.
1 to 32 scale, not 1 to 125 scale, but I know what you meant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, I've very recently tried to beef up my 1 to 32 scale collection. I got a excavator recently, and I got a couple other things. So it'll be nice to have a loader in there as well.
Yeah.
So.
And then looking back at the entire gist of everything they had on display. No, a majority of the stuff is still Tonkin and Norscot stuff.
Right.
Except for these 18 brand new toolings that we're going to put so much emphasis on.
Yeah, the funny part about that for me was they claim that the 950, 966, and 972 M's are part of those 18 new toolings.
Well, so, I mean, I guess they had to tool the decals. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, wait. They had to tool the operators.
Yes, and add the lights and get rid of the antenna because it broke off on everybody's model.
They got rid of the antenna?
I believe they did, yes.
Well, now there's just going to be a useless hole. Unless they decide to go back and tool a new roof.
Could be.
It is very possible. Now, I think you're the one that pointed this out. The lights on the underground mining truck?
Yes, they're going to have LED lights on both the underground mining loader, which is the R3000H, and the articulated underground truck, which is the 8060.
Now, you know what? I think that's one thing to say, hey, this is a brand new cool feature. Buy me. I'm not, it's not a conventional model. Most people actually look past this model, but now I actually kind of want to get it now that it has lights.
And that's absolutely the reason why they did it. If you look back at Norscot, when Norscot had the underground mining loader in the underground truck, nobody bought them. It wasn't a very high selling model. So change it up a bit, add some lights, and that's precisely why they did it. And I think they're going to sell very well.
And I cannot wait for Diecast Masters, God forbid, to add lights like an excavator model or a dozer or something like that. It's gonna happen eventually. It's in the process of evolution of models.
Yeah, you know what else is going to happen is somebody's going to figure out a way to make the 390F a radio controlled piece, and that would be awesome.
Yes, and the 390F does look like a great piece, and I'm gonna get it solely to square it up with my 390D by CCM, which won't even come close. By come close, I'm talking about the F, because the D will kick almost any model's ass anymore.
You have both the 390 and 385 by CCM, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
I got the 385 first, and I just said, you know what, I cannot refuse getting the 390.
Yeah.
So it was like a must get for me.
Well, the 390F will definitely be available by March. It's going to be one of the first to market models. And again, going back to what I briefly alluded to earlier, the price point I think on that is perfect. And I think all of us were pleasantly surprised, because there were a few of us that were worried about that it would be like $170, close to $200, and being priced at $130 is pretty fair, in my opinion.
Yeah, and also, I mean, let's put it this way. Let's do a little comparison here. The original Norscot one that they tooled up did not have opening doors, did not have, all this stuff. But now, and also, by the way, as a side note, the Norscot one did cost considerably more.
Oh, yeah.
But the Diecast Masters one has opening doors. I'm going to call the one guy, the operator guy, Gonzalez.
Warning labels. I mean, it's got a lot of nuances that add a lot to it.
Black bucket. And it's cheaper.
Yes.
Oh my god. They're really stepping up the game, and they're starting to say, and I think that's what they're trying to do, is get their name out there as someone who doesn't play around like Universal Hobbies.
I think what they're trying to do is they're really trying to patch up the widespread view of Caterpillar models made here in the US. I mean, not made here in the US, but you know what I mean. Like, you talk to people around the world, they're like, well, I don't buy cat models because they're pieces of junk or they break or, whatever. And I think Diecast Masters is stepping in here and saying, hey, we can present a product at an affordable price point that's highly detailed, that can compete with your, with some of your first gear products, that can compete with some of your NZG products. And also, another way to do that is the packaging that they're doing with their Highline series, with the collectible tin and the foam rubber and all of the stuff that comes with that. Really, it's gonna be great. I have very high expectations for what we're gonna see here in a couple months.
And actually, that's another thing. And I asked a couple people, and they honestly are not a huge fan of the tin.
See, I am. I love it.
I do too. I think it's a very nice, added detail.
Yeah.
And you don't get the status quo cardboard box, because let's put it this way. A cardboard box is cheap. A tin, not so much.
And you know what else? You don't have to deal with twist ties.
Oh my god, yes, thank you.
So, no, I don't mean to state the obvious, but that's, that was a big deal for the people at Caterpillar. Even at that level of the approval process, they hated those gosh darn twist ties. And they publicly said that, and that resulted in a lot of models getting damaged, because people were trying to get them undone of the twist ties, especially when they would weave them in between axles or in between implements. A lot of stuff got broken because of those tie downs, those twist ties.
Norscot.
Yeah.
We're most of the time we're just gonna go, we're looking at you, Norscot, you fucked up. Uh,
But you are still going to see, by measure of full disclosure, the core classic series are going to be in a cardboard box, but that's all right. You know, it is what it is.
and also, I mentioned this before. Go ahead, though.
I was just going to say, it's great that they redid the D11R and the D8R with metal tracks. Those will be two of the core classics that, again, will be available immediately for the first run. However you want to say it, they'll be available in March. I actually have a pre-order in for both of those, and, you know, as you may suspect, I have the original made by Norscott, so it'll be nice to put them side by side.
Now, this is one I had to say, and I came across this because I got mailed a mini catalog, which was pretty nice, and also a 10% off or something like that. It was a 10 something off my first Diecast Masters purchase, courtesy of 3000 Toys.
$10 off your first purchase of 50 or more on Diecast Masters.
Well, and I also got the little mini catalog, which I was going to do a review of, but you beat me to it. I literally was about ready to film it, then I got the notification. DiecastEmporium uploaded Diecast Masters catalog review. I was like, God damn it.
Sorry about that, Kevin. My bad. I mean, actually, if you want to get all technical, the catalog I reviewed was the 2015 iteration. So it's not the 118-page PDF that, you know, is the 2016 edition. They're essentially the same thing. But you could still do your review on 118 pages if you so desire to
It's
waste
not
your time.
118 pages. It's actually like a little mini book.
Really? The PDF that they have on their website is 116 pages for the 2016 collection. Each model has its own individual page.
Well, I will say this, though, and I mentioned this in the last episode. How in the hell did the M316D make it into the Core Classics collection?
That I don't know. There's a there's a couple Core Classics models that I'm like, really? Why are we still doing this?
Why is that model even still produced? People stopped buying it like 4 years ago.
Well, speaking of which, and I didn't even initially notice this, which is why I had to go back and edit my video. But in the Core Classics line, they're bringing a 330 DL with the shear. Initially, the Norscott version was the 336
DL, yeah.
Yes. So they changed that up, as well as the 320 with the Hydro Hammer. The Norscott, of course, was the 323. So the collectors out there are going to get that just because of the slight variation there.
Now, I must say this for the sake of all you Canadian viewers out there, which I know you guys are out there. The slight decal change.
And here's the best part, Kevin, about the Core Classics. You want to take a guess at what model I'm going to say that's in there? That I just want to shake my head and go, why?
What?
950H.
You know, I was going to say that because I literally just came across it because I have every page of that saved to my phone.
Yeah, and the 777D. Like, the 777D has been around since 2002. I don't understand why. Whatever. It didn't even sell that well in 2002.
Now, why isn't the D5G a Core Classics? Because that was actually a pretty good dozer.
I sense a little bit of sarcasm there.
Actually, it was actually kind of good, to be honest. It was, like, compared to today's standards, it's not, one of the best, because it didn't have hydraulic lines. It had rubber tracks, well, rubber band tracks, really.
Yeah.
But it was still a nice-looking piece, and it excelled.
What I was really kind of irked about, and this will come as no surprise to anyone that follows me on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, but the catalog does not include my beloved cold planer or any pavers. So
that I found interesting. You mean the PM200?
Yep, not there.
You actually like that thing?
I love that thing. Huh. I love all cold planers.
Oh, well, that makes sense. I'd rather have the Virgen.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying it's the only cat one besides the older NZG ones, which I also have. But
rub it in.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a decent model. Could it have been better? Yes, but we are talking Norscott here, so.
Yes, well, which Norscott's pretty much about ready to cease to exist.
Speaking of paving models and core classics, I do like the figure in the open canopy CB534D
Yes.
vibratory compactor. That one I do like.
Now I wonder if the rotating seat will still like be possible.
Yes, it will be.
That actually adds to it right there.
Yes, that is 100% been confirmed.
You know what? I'm naming that guy Rico.
Rico.
You have permission to use some of these names in your reviews.
Well,
And the guy,
Geraldo's about ready to get the boot. We just haven't found anybody better yet. So he's been fired and hired on so many times I lost track.
just do like I would do to any worker that doesn't do well. Just stick him up on the roof to clean off the satellite dish during snowstorms.
I mean, he works. Don't get me wrong. He's a hard worker. He just sometimes he's one of those guys where anything that can go wrong will go wrong kind of guys.
Bad luck, Brian.
Back on topic. Core Classics 365C front shovel. They did a fantastic job updating this. If you look at the picture and see all the hydro lines, it looks amazing. The only thing that they could have done a little bit better job of is getting rid of that silver pin in the drive sprocket. That really doesn't look realistic at all. But I do like the addition of the hydro lines a lot.
Yeah, I do as well. And we were talking about this, that it does look a whole hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
Now, the next one I want to talk about, the next new release, is the 420F. And if you watch my last show, I know you did, but in general, I expressed some displeasure towards it.
Yeah, and I believe you alluded to a little bit. I might have cut you off, but about the operator not being able to swivel around to the rear.
And also, why oh why did you fucking add that 4-in-1 bucket again?
Yeah.
That thing has been hated for I don't know how long. I don't know if you like it or not, but I personally don't. Never have, never will.
I had a love-hate relationship with it when it was the Norscot product. I liked it solely because the IT obviously allows you to have a couple different implements with it. I hated it because it wasn't you couldn't load a truck with it. It didn't go up high enough.
And the 4-in-1 bucket.
And the 4-in-1 bucket, right. But the quick fix for that was, I mean, it didn't look the best, but you could always put a 924 bucket on it, and it looked better.
What do you think's on my 420D?
Guessing exactly what I just said.
Yeah, my old 924 bucket that I found in a box that I haven't seen in years.
My understanding of why Diecast Masters brought back the IT backhoe is because it's going to come with the implements as well.
Yeah, it's going to be the same implements as the Norscot ones.
Yeah.
Of course, I've never been a fan of the IT arms. I would have much rather seen like a standard loader arm. And to be honest, it'd be nice because we've not seen a standard loader arm, and what I mean by that is like what you'd see on, every other John Deere backhoe or something like that, where it has the centralized dump cylinder.
Correct.
We have not seen one of that variation in CAT since NZG.
Yep, since the mid-90s.
Exactly. So why can't it's 2016. Why can't we see one of those again?
I think you will. I think you will in the next couple years. You'll see one of those. But again, they had to get an updated backhoe out. The European market wanted the side shift. We wanted the standard center pivot backhoe with the IT arms. So and I can't say this enough. I don't think a lot of people who watch this show who are model collectors, I don't think they realize the extensive process and the pressure that's on the company that holds the Caterpillar license. Every model that they produce or want to produce has to go through an extremely comprehensive and extensive approval process at Caterpillar. It's not like they can go to Cat and say, for example, hey, we want to make the brand new 18M grader that's coming out for you. Caterpillar goes to them and says, this is what you guys are going to make because we have either an updated model coming out this year or a brand new product, and we want to have a scale model to represent it.
And this is how you're going to do it.
Right.
Now, one thing I noticed is, and I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but a new rear bucket in the terms of the teeth are different.
On the 420, you're saying?
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't notice that. Hold on, let me pull up a picture
They're
of
more
that.
of like a spear teeth instead of the traditional.
Is it still a three-tooth bucket?
Um, I don't. It shows three teeth. I think it's more of a four tooth bucket, to be honest.
You know what? I'm seeing 5 teeth. One, two, three, four. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong picture. My bad. That's the 420E. Excuse me for a second. Hold on.
But it does look like the teeth are different. Now, it is the same general look of the back boom as the E series. I mean, it's got the E stick, it's got all that. But, and let's hope they don't put the linkage on backwards like Norscott did to my specific backhoe.
That. That's still funny to this day.
I don't, like, it took me a couple days to realize it, but when I realized that the functionality isn't like I remembered it, I was like, wait a second, what the and it took Google Images. Like, I looked up 420E and I was like, wait a second.
All right, so I got the right picture. I'm looking at the 420 F2 in the catalog, and it's a close up of the machine from the rear. I see 5 teeth, and it does look like it's a smaller, almost trenching style bucket. But it
Yeah.
also looks like it's an extend-a-hoe, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
And
and
then
I do like the stabilizer pads with the road surface like
that,
blackness on it.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to get to. And also, like, the underneath, there's like the webbing underneath, the beam webbing,
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. And
and
then,
the warning labels, which everybody in the world who's watched my videos knows I'm obsessed with because I love detail, and that's something so simple that everybody should be doing.
and a beacon.
And yes, and the beacon light,
And Freddy.
or Jamal, or Geraldo, or whoever you want to name.
Jamal, that's such a generic name. It seems like every time in English, like every time you read a story, there's always Jamal did this, Jamal did that. Who the fuck is named Jamal in this world?
Actually, I work with a Jamal, very nice guy,
Oh
but
no. And all of a sudden, speaking of that, like my 428C that you were so gracious to tell me about just came flying at me. I
interesting.
I don't even know because I had it sitting up on my table. The next thing I know, I feel like the teeth like digging in to my pants.
So, in case anybody really cared, the follow up to my inquiry about the 950, the 966, the 972, according to the catalog, which has a picture of the model, not of the real machine, all of the antennas have been removed. They are not there.
Well, they were gonna fall out anyways.
Yeah, and
So
there
just
also is not a beacon light.
yeah, but there's definitely a lot. You know, we could go on forever on how much things have changed, how this and that are, and
Right.
that's just the way we are. We just like to talk.
Yeah, and hopefully, if anybody's actually still watching at this point, I don't know if we're nearing an hour or whatever, but hopefully they're into that too. So, all right. So here's my question for you, Kevin. Name off 3 models for sure that you're gonna get as soon as they're available from
D9,
me.
335, 420,
Oh, gee. Okay, that was quick.
and 390.
I'm going to be getting, in case anybody wants to know, the D9T, the 330 with shear, the 793F in 1 to 125 scale, the D11R with metal tracks, the 390F, and of course, no surprise, the D11T in copper, the D9K, not D9, good lord, the 910K in 132nd scale. Both of the backhoes, the 320 DL with hammer, and last but surely not least, the D8R with metal tracks.
I think the least in that statement. Well, actually, I don't think there really is a least.
So you're looking at roughly $1,000 worth of models.
You see, he just makes these mass paychecks and then just blows it all
Oh yeah,
on models.
let me tell you about that. Not.
Oh no.
I'll tell you who does though is Sally Mae. Thank you, Sally Mae. I appreciate you sending me checks or not checks, notifications in the mail every other day. So yeah,
Now, this has nothing to do with construction models. As you guys hopefully know, that I like racing, and as you well know, Tommy, I'm an avid racing fan. And I have a nice collection of Le Mans models, and I want to thank this lady. Her name is Shelly. She works at Nismo, and she was courteous enough to send me the number 23 GTR LM 143rd scale for
you cut
free.
me off on my rant on student loans, Kevin. I'm disappointed in you. Sally Mae is a student loan company. It's not a person.
Oh. I'm sorry. I don't
Hopefully,
want to.
everybody that's watching this that's a little bit older is keeling over laughing right now.
I don't know what that is because I haven't had to deal with student loans yet.
The devil. That's what they are.
Well, you never know. But anyways, thank you, Shelly at Nismo. Even though your project was a massive failure.
He still appreciates it nonetheless.
It was the one time that car ever made it.
I'm still stuck on the whole Sally Mae thing. That was hilarious. Oh my god.
He's just gonna sit there laughing at himself for the next hour.
I'm not laughing at myself. I'm laughing at you.
I have those dumbass moments if you ever watch my show.
That was beautiful, dude. That was hilarious. Oh god. All right, moving on.
It's funny that this is the one time I don't think one of my jokes is funny.
Well, if that was intended as a joke, that was pretty well done.
By the way, I have to say this for Joe. I know he'll get a laugh out of this, and this is sort of like an inside joke, but Model News' official mascot is named Ballast the Possum. I don't know if you get it. I'll have to explain it.
No, I don't.
I'll have to explain it to you off air.
Sounds good to me.
But I mean, yeah, and then we also got the Doosan wheeled excavator, which looks nice. It looks really nice, actually.
I didn't actually get a chance to look at many of the other Toy Fair items other than the Caterpillar stuff, so you're going to have to enlighten me.
You sure you want me to do that?
No, I'll just go over and ask Sally Mae. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Oh, Lord. And then there's the New Holland wheeled excavator, and then now Cabelco and Universal Hobbies, I think it was.
Are they doing it in yellow or that blue color?
Both.
Oh, they're doing it in both. Wow.
Yes, they're doing it in both. They didn't have any prototypes there, but they had pictures. Oh, wait, it's Motor Art, not Universal Hobbies. You know what's funny? It actually said Motor Art in the bottom. I just did not pay attention.
I wouldn't hold my breath if it's a Motor Art model.
But yeah, it's in both blue and also yellow. And if you look on the Mall News 101 Instagram page, you can see a very unpleased looking lady in the background of the picture. So Stefan Drasher, thank you for all the photos, by the way, Stefan, and also great job on capturing Edna. That's what I'm gonna call her.
Edna. Well, as long as it doesn't have the Cranes Etc. case dancing quartet that they had last year, I think we'll all be happy.
Oh Lord, that was funny.
This is Case, and our marketing budget is we pay a whole bunch of dancers to come in and dance around our equipment.
You know what? They need to get a mariachi band.
Maybe I can talk to Caterpillar and see what we can do.
No, man, no. They're too close to me.
All right, I gotta stop. I'm slap happy. Sorry, guys, I'm going on 3 hours of sleep. Just bear with me here. Kevin's Sally Mae thing was probably the funniest thing I've heard all week, so thank you. I really needed that, Kevin.
Well, you know, nothing's funnier than a dumbass not knowing what he's talking about.
Well, you know what? If you end up deciding you want to go to college, all I can say is do your homework before you take out a student loan. Not that I didn't, but there's always some fine print somewhere that
they'll come back to bite you in the ass.
Exactly, precisely.
By the way, he has some stuff for sale, I think.
Yeah, on eBay actually. I have 3 different, which I don't normally do. I very rarely sell or trade models, but I am selling a Bobcat set, which is the Chevy Silverado, and what is it, Landau trailer with the S205, I believe, skid steer.
Yes, it's the S205.
And there's a set of 1 to 32 scale skid steer loaders. I believe there's a total of 5 of those. And last but not least, there's a D5G with a damaged exhaust stack. So if you're interested in any of those, go ahead and head on over to eBay and look those up. I believe they end on Monday evening at around 8 o'clock.
Yeah, well, about Monday evening around 8 o'clock, I will be fast asleep after the Rolex 24.
All All right,
But
so to wrap up this, Kevin, because I got to get ready to head out here again. Sorry about that, but yeah, the biggest models that I'm looking forward to, of course, are the 390F, the D9T, and if we ever get to see it this year or whenever it comes out, the 18M3. Those are the three highlights of the catalog for me.
yeah, and well, we'll see how it goes for me. But anyways, guys, you ready to wrap this one up?
Yep, go ahead.
All right, guys. So thanks for watching. Definitely thanks Tommy for coming back again. I know it was another fun episode.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to guest star. And guys, you knew this was coming. You weren't going to get through a whole show. But if there's any construction models that you are interested in, visit constructionscalemodels.com, which is Buffalo Road Imports. I guarantee you they have something that you're looking for.
I was biting my wrist. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and as always, peace out, and we'll see you in the next one. Hopefully, we'll have some good news. We'll see you later.